Hello, everyone. I'm just trying to get things set up on TikTok as well. We're there. Baxter, lay down. The dogs are up here tonight because he does not know how to stop whining. But we have there's lots going on today. Well, moderate amount going on today. Baxter, lay down, dude. Hello. And I am, for those who are interested, I am live on YouTube as well. So a little bit of an update of something that's going on tonight that we have been kind of keeping on. You are going to go back downstairs if you cannot stop whining. You want to come in my lap? Come here. This is what you want. Come on. So, okay, there we go. For those of y'all who've been following the Benjamin Obadiah Foster situation, yes, weather sucks here too. Hey, Amy. So for those of you who don't know that situation, this is a guy who he has been arrested before for domestic violence. He's been using dating apps to find his victims. I had a live last night for Ashley. And we'll have a live tonight for Ashley. But I'm doing it later because my family is more important than streaming Banfield at 9 o'clock. And my daughter tonight stayed up a little bit later, and I'm recording the episodes. So that being said, she took precedence, and here I am now. But anyways, Benjamin Obadiah Foster, he's somebody who's been using dating apps. They believe they found him. They believe that they found him. There is currently a situation where SWAT has surrounded a house in Grants Pass, Oregon. It's been going on for a couple of hours now. There were a couple local stations in Oregon that were covering it. He's hiding under it. Yeah, I saw that too. And the house that he's at is one of his victims' houses. The one that he left for dead. That I think that she thinks she's still in the hospital. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm one time zone over from you. Anyway, so it's good. It's great that they found him. There's a standoff, but typically these SWAT things, how they go. My guess is that he is not going to end well for him. And I am very okay with that. We are talking about Benjamin Obadiah. He's on life support. That's so sad. Benjamin Obadiah Foster. And look, I've shared the video. Women share the video. You guys are just never safe anywhere. Even I guess now on dating apps. So just be careful, guys. Just be careful. Hello, Pam. They found Benjamin Obadiah Foster. So anyways, if I see breaking news come up on that, I will let you guys know. But the standoff has been going. I know y'all have. You're right. Y'all have never been. You're right. You've never been safe. That's totally true. So what all has he done? Well, his most recent situation was he basically uses dating apps to find his victims. And this last one, she was bound, like zip tied up and like beaten. She was nearly dead. She was nearly dead. Just horribly beaten, bound, zip tied. He had another domestic violence charge where he did that with a previous girlfriend in Las Vegas. And then there was another charge that he had that got lumped in with that charge, a 2018 charge. And anyways, the judge gave him 2.5 years, but he'd already been in jail for like 2.5 years. I believe I did get it. Yeah, I believe I did. And anyways, yeah, that's what he's done. But dating apps are scary. Going out is scary. Just like this is, I picked up my daughter today from school, preschool, and the flags were down. Yeah, she's still alive. Everyone, all these people are currently still alive. I went to pick up my daughter today from school and the preschool, and the flags were at half mast. So I said to them, I was like, why are they at half mast? They're like, I missed something. Did somebody die? Something happened? And they're like, oh, it's because of the school shooting. Oh man, you're really rude. So you're gone. There you go. Done. You're muted. He is at one of his victims' houses in Oregon. So And I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah. So they said that the flags were half mast. I said what were they for? They said for a shooting. And for a shooting, I'm like, and I didn't realize the topic came out. I was like, which one? Because we had like 4 this week. So, anyways, it's a very challenging time that we are currently living in. There you go. Okay, there's the 4th one, shooting in Target tonight. So, they have not arrested him. There wasn't a school shooting. I said just a shooting. I just went to my daughter's school. No, they are in a standoff right now. With the people. He's I guess apparently under the house in Oregon, and if it's in for short, it's Nebraska. It's Nebraska. Told you. Where nothing happens, but apparently a shooting. Yes, apparently under the house. This is not a repeat of Brian Laundrie in a bunker. It's under the house. So anyway, it's insane. I've not been on very long now. Not at all. Yeah, we're talking about the dating app guy. They have him surrounded in Grants Pass at one of his victims' house. So I wanted to talk about that because that is great. That is great. Hopefully it ends in the way that most of these standoffs end, because then you don't have to go through a process of him getting a year and a half for assault to come out and immediately do it again and continue doing it until he actually kills someone. I'm not a victim from tonight, a victim from what I'm trying to see. What was it? It was like, I think earlier, like last week, it was a woman last week that he bound and left for dead, and she's now in the hospital on life support. Well, hello. Thanks for coming in from the FYP. I don't know who the informant is. I was asked a lot about this last night. Yes, they do have him. Yeah, they do have him cornered. You can check. Hold on, I've got a few conversations going on. So in regard to the guy in Oregon, you can check. God, there's a couple webs. There's Let me see. Let me go to my history because I just was there. They had it there. Well, I'm trying to find. Recently visited. I don't know. It's the two. There's 2 local stations, like an ABC and like I don't know if it was a Fox, but it was a local station, KATU or something like that. Anyways, those local Oregon stations, if you're in that area, they have been covering it. I would actually have thrown it up on here if it was still. So anyways, yeah, KATU. Thank you, KATU. If you Google KATU, you can find information about it. Okay, so let me switch over to the informant real quick because a lot of y'all are asking about that. So let's have that conversation. Where did my YouTube go? There it is. So as far as the informant goes, I think it's interesting. I don't know who it is. People are asking me, who it is, and you guys know I won't speculate in videos. I'm happy to speculate in lives because y'all know it's speculation. But I don't know. I don't know. Rachel, I'm going to come back to what you just said, so don't go anywhere because I think that's important. I think that there isn't it's definitely the informant is not Kim. Kim is a psychopath. It's not Kim. And for those of y'all who don't know, Kim is the mom who has kids that go to WSU, who's tried to get her 15 minutes of fame on YouTube and with my friend Olivia, Chronicles of Olivia, on her platform, and she just spouts off every rumor you hear on the dumpster fire that is the Idaho Facebook group. The DoorDash die is a good idea. The other thing that so the one that I have thought that it might be, if you guys like force me into a corner, it's like you have to say something right now. Nope, not the roommate. Roommate is already on the witness list. I know. Well, everybody believes the thing is though, Mary Sue, everybody believes everything. That's the issue. Yeah, no, we're going all over the place right now. It's like my ADD is going crazy. No, I don't think it's the dad either. I think I guess it could be. It could be. So just if I had to just do a blank, let's throw something at a wall to see what sticks. What I would say is I think that maybe during his Reddit survey, maybe there was somebody that he spoke to, a criminal. Banfield just confirmed he may be dead. Let me check. Hold, please. If so, that is great news. Sorry. I mean, that's mean, but great news. We go to this live real quick. Hold on. I want to see if he's dead. I want to know. So it comes through. Anyways, perhaps, yeah, exactly. Love for gun to gun. A criminal who might want to deal. Somebody who Bryan spoke to at length about stuff, gave him ideas, and maybe they have another crime and they're trying to negotiate it. That is kind of what my thought is. Okay. No, this is talking about dipping into savings. I'm going to Google something else. See if we have anything new on him. An hour ago, says the moon continues. They're talking about this debt ceiling right now. Hold on. No, it's talking about Governor Greg Abbott now on Oregon News. So it's not. Okay, I'll keep this up and I'll look at it. If he's dead, I will let you guys know as soon as I can. I'm going to keep this pulled up over here. It's hard. I have to kind of go back and forth, Lars. It's hard. TikTok scrolls so much more. So let me check. Did you see this stuff all over my TikTok on Bethany? The parents. I've not seen anything on Bethany. A lot of people talk about Bethany. I haven't spoken a lot about Bethany because she's down in the very bottom level. She was asleep. I don't really think she's got a lot to offer. I haven't seen anything about Bethany yet, but I don't really think that there's a lot to go with on her other than that. So who may be dead? Benjamin Obadiah Foster. He is the person who has been using dating apps. We're talking about a lot of people, guys. We're talking about a lot of things, so we got to keep up. I'm doing my best. And I know as people come in and out, they're like, what the hell are we talking about? I'll have to go look, Lars. Today's been kind of crazy, so I'll have to go look. I think the professor's just the professor. I don't think that's who the informant is, Emmy. But yeah, the dating app guy. So the Murdaugh murders today. Again, I've been working all day. Here's the problem with my job. Let me go to WAT. I'll check that. Let me tell you the problem with my job, guys. It prevents me from staying home and watching these cases all day, which is what I want to do. Okay, TU. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, we're still on that one. We don't know if he's dead. Supposedly, Banfield came on and announced that we are going to watch Banfield here shortly if y'all still want to do that. But there's not in the house? Okay. The dating guy is resolved. Are we sure? Yeah, my job, it gets in my way. It gets in the way. I'm not seeing it on this situation yet. If it's resolved, though, that's fantastic. It's unconfirmed. K pick 4. It's unconfirmed. Okay, it's unconfirmed. What does resolved in this case? Resolved in this particular case. On whose website is it on, Erica? It's everybody saying it's unconfirmed. If it's on a news site, let me know. I'll find it. We'll pull it up. Resolved in this particular situation would be no longer a threat to anybody on this earth. That is what resolved would mean in this particular situation. But anyway, so all I know about the case today is what my wonderful follower and friend Emmy tells me. I'll come back to that question in a second. I want to come back. There was something that somebody else said in here that I want to come back to. I think it was Rach. Yeah. So it's on K8. So on K18 News. I'm on K18 News' site. Let me just go check here. All I see on the thing all I can see about the update on KATU is they are in a standoff and that please confirm attempted murder suspect Benjamin Foster is underneath the Grant Pass home. So they know where he is. It is a standoff, but he is not dead yet. Okay. Why did I start new lives later? Because I have a child and a life, and I like being able to fast forward through the commercials on Banfield, and my child comes first, basically. So Rach Ann said, there are so many cases we could talk about. It's overwhelming. I have 10 questions for each crime and case. Yeah, Rach, totally get that. And actually, so for a lot of y'all who maybe weren't here last night or whatever, obviously I'm asked, like, I'll be asked about a million cases at once. So I actually created in my link tree on TikTok. I need to figure out how to get it over to YouTube as well. I am on YouTube as well right now, guys. Is I created a jot form. So if people want me to look into a case and cover something, they can send me that information. And at the same time, selfishly, I have it redirect you to YouTube after you submit it so you can follow me there. But anyways, you can do that if you want me to cover something. It doesn't mean 100% it will get covered, but it at least gives me something that's there that I can't lose and I can read and check off. So and I don't know which one you sent me. That it's anonymous, Pam. So I don't know who sent me what, because I didn't want it to be a thing where people, like, it was a favoritism thing or whatever, like my regulars, like, I'm going to cover this because of whatever. So some people I can tell though. Some I can tell because if I know you well enough, I can tell who did what. From News Team Standoff Murder Suspect. Grants Pass spokesperson. I'm on KAT. Amy, can you post the link here for that? Because I believe you. I 100% believe you, but I cannot find it. I'm on the KATU site right now and I do not see it. So I'll refresh it real quick. If you could, like, just post it, I will click on it and go because I'm not seeing it. And I'm watching, I see the live on too. But anyways, well, resolve. Anyone know what the one video mentioned in the Idaho4 is? I don't know. I haven't really seen that much new stuff about Idaho. I did on Instagram. There were some new court documents that I posted. One actually I couldn't even find. Well, hi, Good Trouble. Thank you for stopping in. Good Trouble just came in here. I don't know if he's going to say anything, but y'all should definitely follow him. Phenomenal creator. He claps back at people in a way that I don't even know how, but it's incredibly, incredibly creative. So give him a follow if y'all don't already. I'll check KVTL and see real quick. Now, I'm still covering the Murdaugh case. We're talking about a lot of things, though. One, fortunately or unfortunately. Okay, here's what it says. It says it's resolved. Let's go. I see it now. I found it on. Let me see real quick. I'm trying to pull this up. Okay, here's what it says. At this point, it's not confirmed. Okay, so right now, so for those of y'all who we're talking about real quick, we're talking about Benjamin Obadiah Foster. So for those of y'all who don't know who that is, this is a person who was on the news yesterday, and I think for a few days, who is using dating apps to find his victims, and he beats them within an inch of their life, leaves them for dead, like he did this most latest one. He's done it before. He served almost no time and got to do it again. And so what it says at this point is that, so he was under the house of one of his victims, and I do not have HBO, so I have not watched the docuseries yet. I would love to, though. It said that he was hiding under the house, and at this point, I'll read it verbatim. Grants Pass police spokesperson Jeff Hattersley confirmed with News 10 that the standoff with attempted murder suspect Benjamin Foster has been resolved. Hattersley said he could not confirm at this time whether the situation was resolved with Foster being arrested or if the situation involved any loss of life. Hattersley is a hard last name. Said further details will be provided in the coming hours, followed by a press conference tomorrow afternoon. This was an update as of 7:15 p.m. No, that was when he was under the house. So that is what we know at this point. That's what we know at this point. So I'm hoping it is. I'm just going to be mean. I'm hoping it is the latter. I'm going to hope it's the latter. So, but anyways, we'll keep watching that. Still asking about the informant for Kohberger. So I talked about that a little bit earlier tonight. I don't know who it is. If my guess, if you were like, what's your speculation? What do you think? My speculation is it's one of the people from Reddit, like from his thank you for sending the love. Meaning that it was one of the people from his survey, and that might have a crime against them. And he was able to provide possibly text documentation that's indisputable, or email documentation is indisputable, and he is trying to get off with a lesser sentence for whatever he did. That is my theory. I could be way off base, and I'm okay if I'm way off base. Totally fine. So because they said they're not going to be a witness. That's why. It said on the forum it's not going to be a witness. I did post on Instagram, though, for those of y'all who follow me there. For those of y'all who don't, I post this kind of stuff on Instagram, what I'm about to share with you, regularly, because it's not worth making a video for it. But I did post on Insta this afternoon. One was a little bit late. The other was from yesterday. The defense's request for discovery and the state's response for discovery, the state's response for request for discovery, and then the defense's reply. Those are both on my Instagram. So anyways, yeah, lots going on tonight. What if it's Kohberger's? I don't think that would be, because then I don't think that the Kohberger's professor would have any knowledge that they could share that would be valuable to the case. Murdaugh, I heard I. From Murdaugh, I heard I. But I also am biased because I think he's incredibly. My wife shares an interest in the true crime stuff. She's the one that has gotten me into this for you guys, basically, is what happened with that. At the same time, I'm biased, so I think he's guilty. So I heard I. Other people heard they. Banfield thinks he's innocent. Yes, I'm going to show Banfield. But right now, people are asking me a lot of questions, so I'm trying to be, I'm trying to give people the answers because I'm not going to stay on very late tonight. At least that's not my plan. Could be Gigi, but I doubt it. I doubt it would be the security guard because I don't think they would have a problem testifying, and they wouldn't have that much information other than we found the car. The world is not going to stop being crazy. Somebody actually sent me, no, y'all are not driving me nuts tonight. Y'all are driving me nuts the regular amount of level that you guys drive me nuts every night, but it's in a good way, and it's endearing, and I mean that with love, because I appreciate every one of you. Look, we are not behind on Banfield. It did happen. I have it recorded. We are going to watch it. I like being able to fast forward through the commercials. So we are going to watch it. Look, in all honesty, I really appreciate everyone that's in here, everyone who follows me on any of the platforms, the fact that you guys support me. It's so incredibly appreciated. So y'all don't really drive me nuts, I promise. Banfield thinks Murdaugh is innocent. So, well, thank you guys. So, anyways, okay. So I will happily play Banfield right now. We can do that and get it knocked out and have a chat a little bit more afterwards. But yeah, I think the tears are so fake. I think they're so fake. Well, thank you guys for that. What do I think Kohberger's motive is? I think Kohberger's motive is just to see if he could get away with it. And it's not over because he very well could. Just like I think Murdaugh's probably going to get away with it. Although what Emmy was sharing with me earlier today that I didn't get to watch, but she was telling me, I wish I could pull up my text from you, but I can't because I'm on this, was that basically they discovered that some of the weapons in the Murdaugh arsenal have been altered to be able to take different caliber ammunition, which is very interesting because, you know, they were talking about like him trying to load the firearms with the wrong, you know, he was so distraught. He was trying to load 12 gauge with 16 gauge. So it's, yeah. And I think so too. Have y'all seen, so Diane just said, Sam, I think he wants to be written about in text, which you just kind of remind me. Have any of y'all seen like not like the Glass Onion Knives Out or whatever it's called? Let me see what it's called. I'm getting it wrong. We watched it the other night. Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery. great cast. And anyways, at the end, there's one line that says he wants to be mentioned in the same breath as the Mona Lisa forever. And I kind of think about that for Kohberger. So anyways. So it was great. I thought it was great. Who do we think the Kohberger informant is? I mean, a lot of people have a lot of different opinions. Have we seen this? I mean, have we seen the Snapchat for Paul yet? I don't think we've seen that yet, right? We did see text messages today for Paul. I saw that. Oh, I'm sorry, Kimberly. Brianna's asking, do I think the WSU student that was found dead is linked to the Idaho murders? The answer is I do not think so. And just so you guys know, if I'm looking this way, I'm looking at YouTube. And if I'm looking here, I'm looking at you guys on TikTok. I am on both platforms. I'm actually on 4 platforms right now streaming. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, obviously, Twitch, because why the hell not? I've got 10 whole followers on Twitch, guys. I'm really making my own there. I did have 11, so I lost one. And then Twitter. So anyway, well, thank you, Brittany. I appreciate that. I don't think the dad's the informant. Paul Murdaugh. So that's yeah, I didn't get to see the whole thing today. I did. I mean, I didn't say who I think that it is. Okay, no, we've not seen the YouTube or the Snapchat yet. That was not Brian's sister at Ann Taylor's house. They looked a whole lot alike, but that was not, or at the house with Ann Taylor. No, that was not Brian's sister. Yeah, my ADD is going into like overdrive right now. Okay. How about this? Let's watch Banfield, because I know that y'all are chomping at the bit for that, right? Am I wrong on that? Court for Murdaugh, they're expecting 3 weeks total. We're about a full weekend now. Or we are a full weekend now. But y'all, we can watch. Are y'all ready to do Banfield? Do y'all want to do that? And we can come back to the chat afterwards. Are we good? We want to do that? All right, cool. Let me get that set up for y'all. And I'm going to have to turn the YouTube people around. Give me 1 second. So I'm trying to get into Sling to get into it. So bear with me. So that's why I'm looking like I'm trying to look past all the equipment. No, you got Gigi. I'm sorry, you got outvoted. Everybody was like, "Let's go now," on the thing. I'm sorry. I'm juggling 4 platforms at once. Yes. And thank everybody who's following. Thank you so much. I don't know what the topic on Banfield is tonight. Some people have seen it, but I've not seen it yet. Okay, I've got it queued up. Alexa, turn off theater. Okay. Purple lights need to go up. There they go. All right. Let me get the YouTube people set up first, guys, because they're a little more complex. And then we will work on y'all. Okay, you guys, there we go. There you go. Y'all are all set. Now let me work on you guys. There we go. Can we see everything okay? Are we good? We're good. I'm sorry for making everybody's Alexas pop off. My bad. Let's go.
And suggested to one of the crime scene investigators, isn't it possible 2 shooters came? And she said, well, it could have been.
And unconscious, nearly beaten to death.
Well, let's go back a minute. We want to see
Jesse Weber, thank you, appreciate it. That does it for us tonight. Banfield starts now.
Breaking news tonight. I want to talk right away about what's happening right now in Oregon, Grants Pass, Oregon. We brought you the story of a nationwide manhunt last night because a young man by the name of Benjamin Obadiah Foster was on the run, having allegedly left a woman for dead, bound and unconscious, nearly beaten to death. She is on life support tonight, and the police in Grants Pass now believe they may have him surrounded. Let me repeat. Police believe that Benjamin Obadiah Foster may actually be holed up back at the scene of the crime in the same home where that crime happened. To give you a little bit of foundation here, police confirm that he entered the home this morning, and they do believe that he is still inside. This is the place where a woman was found tortured and bound a week ago. It was happenstance that she was found at all, but a friend couldn't get through to her and stopped by to check on her and found her unconscious and nearly dead. She was in critical condition in the hospital. She is in life support tonight. I can tell you this, a shelter in place went out to the entire community around that home. A preschool was on lockdown throughout the day. Parents who normally pick their kids up in that community were told not to come to this community at all because so many of these streets were blocked off, like the way you're seeing it on the screen right now. Police cars with their lights flashing, keeping people out of this area, not knowing what could happen because it is believed that Benjamin Obadiah Foster is armed and dangerous. So multiple streets in the community closed off while they surrounded that home. It is effectively a standoff at this point because police, as I said, do believe that he is still in that home. He is wanted for attempted murder, kidnapping, and assault. This is the same person you've been seeing on the news because it was assumed he was using dating apps either to get women to bring him in and help hide him or to find his next victims. I want to bring in Brett Taylor from KDRV. He's a reporter from Oregon who is actually just about 12 houses down from this location. He's live with me tonight. So give me the latest on what's happening in the standoff, Brett.
Well, actually, just about 2 minutes ago, we finally received confirmation from Lieutenant Jeff Hattersley with the Grants Pass Police Department that they did confirm that Benjamin Obadiah Foster is right now underneath the home of that house where they found the victim just about a week ago. They just told me that they've been trying to contact him and convince him to go and turn himself over and come from underneath the house, but they've been unsuccessful with that right now. It's still a very tense situation. We did see some sort of saw being bringing over to the situation, so we're not sure if they're going to potentially use that saw to try to cut underneath the home to take him into custody. But again, still a very developing situation here right now. There's still no estimated timetable on when the roads will be back open or when Foster may be taken into custody. So they're just asking for the community's patience and the residents' patience as they continue to try and figure out this situation with Foster here right now.
So, Brett, that's just a sort of a bizarre description. We're looking at a picture from Google Earth of the home, and it appears that there's sort of like a front porch with some lattice work. Is that where they think he might be underneath the home, or is there some kind of a basement? I can also see some crawl space that looks like under like a living room window. Like, are you aware of what they mean by under the home?
No, not specifically. Police didn't go into too many details about where exactly they believed he was underneath the home. They only just stated very generically that they do know he is underneath the home. And then again, finally, official confirmation that he is still there. Initially around 3 or 4 o'clock today, they only told us that they believed he was still in that home after he was spotted in the area this morning. But again, just a few minutes ago, they finally confirmed he is still there at that home tonight.
So a couple of other things just that I've heard had happened earlier. 2 very loud booms were heard in that neighborhood. I know you're about 12 houses down. Could you hear those? Can you characterize them for me? And do we have any idea what that was?
Yeah, at around 3:15 today, like I said, I heard 2 loud booms. It sounded like it could have been a flashbang. Police said that they were initiating some tactical strategies with SWAT teams at that home. But again, wouldn't go into specifics about what happened. Neighbors that I talked with that were here in the area kind of under the same impression as well, that it could have been some flashbangs that they used. And actually just about an hour or so, we heard another pretty loud boom here in the area too, and could see some smoke rising from the area of that home. So it appears some sort of device was activated potentially. But again, right now, when it comes to the specifics, not too many details are being given out right now at this time. Again, this is still very active, very developing. I think police are right now currently trying to keep things for the most part under wraps, except for the important information that they can give to us right now.
So Brett, I don't know if you can do this. It's a bit, we're sort of building the plane as we fly it here, but can you ask your photographer to widen out? I can see a lot of flashing lights on, reflecting off of you, but I just kind of want to get a feel for the situation that you're standing in right now. I know it's hard because I know there's other press there, but just give me a bit of a tour as to what circumstances you're in right now as you watch the scene play out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ashley, I can inform you that I am the photog and the reporter as well. So I will move out of the way and get behind the camera so you guys can see a little bit about what's going on here in the distance right now. I'm going to flip everything around. You can see some residents actually leaving the area. That has been kind of happening on and off the day. Some residents that are closer to the scene, they've been allowing them to go through. You can see some, looks like some Grants Pass police officers moving away from the scene. You can see Medford Police is here. And then off in the distance, further out, there were some police lights. You could see about 30 minutes ago in that dark area. There were SWAT teams as well. But those vehicles have actually moved further into Shane Way from what it appears closer to that scene and away from the site of the road, where right now, again, it appears all their attention is right now located on Shane Way, where before it was kind of in between Sungalow Drive and Shane Way. We also have over to the right now, the Grants Pass Police Department mobile protective van, where right now officers are inside constantly figuring out this situation about what's going on. And actually, where this Manford police vehicle was here just a few seconds ago, this unmarked vehicle in front of that was not there. It appears that they are trying to block any view of the screens that they have currently inside. We have seen some video footage of what appears to be live footage of the scene from either drones that have been seen up in the area over the last hour or two, or potentially police camera footage that's right now there at the scene as officers figure out what's their next plan of attack tonight.
Well, you are just fantastic at this job. Let me just say that for starters, and keep that shot. I do want you to point out a couple of other things, if you can, Brett. So, okay, are they certain? Are they certain he's still alive? Are they certain he's still in there? And I know you mentioned that they've got maybe some eyes on. Oftentimes police do, and they won't tell us what the gear is that they have or what eyes they may have. But what do we know they know?
Yeah, again, not too certain if they believe he's still alive or not. They haven't mentioned anything about him.
I'm going to pause where we're going to ask you guys, since we know that the outcome of this for him is it's been resolved. Do y'all want to keep watching this section of it, or should we fast forward? You tell me. Then I'll press play again. Okay, we'll fast forward. Okay, for those of y'all who don't know what it is, this jackass used a dating app to find victims, and yeah, just be careful on dating apps. That's the moral of the story.
Benjamin Foster.
They haven't said what the result is. Hopefully, it's the latter.
Of assaulting and attacking women, effectively strangling them to the point of unconsciousness, beating them, domestic violence to the order of a serious felony. And for some unknown reason, he was able to strike a deal and only serve, I think, about 700 some odd days in a jail in Nevada. But now here we are a couple of years later, and the allegations are, just beyond comprehension. The way we've heard it discussed is horrible. The scene where this latest victim was found. Her name, by the way, is Justine Siemens, and she's on life support tonight, as I mentioned. Again, she was found in the same home where they are currently in a standoff with Benjamin Foster. So Benjamin Foster is at her home right now. That's what the police believe, as she is fighting for her life in a hospital. She was found on Tuesday. Ended up happening in this standoff.
Well, I think actually this is close to the end now. Obviously, they've got him isolated, they've got him contained, and the crisis negotiators are doing their magic to try to get him to come out peacefully. Number one, so that no law enforcement officers are endangered in that.
Cause statement from the district attorney, who has decided to charge Alec Baldwin and also Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the armorer, on the Rust movie set. So there were some things in this 10-page document that I had not seen before. Number one, the thing that stood out was that Alec Baldwin was on the phone with his family and was distracted during the 30-minute safety training he got on the set. He was supposed to be at a 1-hour safety training, but instead got the 30 minutes on the set as a last-minute consolation, but was on the phone with his family, the prosecutors say. Also, Prosecutors say they've got a whole bunch of photos and video from the shooting that day on that set that shows his finger inside the trigger guard and on the trigger during the rehearsal, because he has told the media that I didn't pull the trigger. That gun went off. It went off because of the hammer, and I didn't pull the trigger. There's a lot more, too. The things that they said Baldwin just failed in so many ways. He failed as an actor. He failed as a producer. He didn't demand safety checks as a producer. He pointed a gun at humans. He failed to appear for the mandatory training. He was distracted. There were too many things that they say he should have known and should have done. But this is still going to be tough because he was just doing his job, right? Carl Douglas wears a lot of hats. Yes, he's an attorney, but he's not just any attorney. He was the O.J. Simpson Dream Team attorney. He's a civil rights lawyer, wrongful death lawyer, personal injury lawyer, employment and criminal defense lawyer, but famous mostly because of the stellar work on O.J. Simpson's case. All right, Carl Douglas, I just want to get your overall read of the case against Alec Baldwin. The probable cause statement is really painful to read if you're Alec Baldwin, but is it if you're his lawyer?
Ashley, I was like you, surprised at all of the various steps that they described. Not only were there negligent steps with him as an actor, but as a producer on the set that was there, the biggest name that was there. There were so many things that could have been done differently that certainly would have led to a different result. As well, Miss Reed did so many things wrong, having a real gun at a rehearsal, not being present, not following the protocols that were laid out that should always be followed. And for him to have made statements like he has, which have been used against him and referenced in this 10-page document, shows exactly what the prosecutors intend to prove.
Okay, so I think, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed's statement from her lawyers is that she tried everything, and she was shut down by all the producers. She tried for extra training. She tried to have a safer gun on the set. They've really addressed that all, to the media. But I keep coming back to the invisible culprit here. Who the heck brought live rounds to a movie set? You don't need live rounds on a movie set. And I feel like that's Alec Baldwin's ace in the hole. I feel like if his lawyer came out there with jazz hands and said, the invisible culprit here is the guilty party, and it's the person who brought the rounds to the set, and that's not Alec Baldwin. Is that going to be strong enough, though?
That may be, Ashley, the defense that he's going to have left with him. As a defense lawyer, the main thing that you always have is the element of surprise. Here, Alec Baldwin has been on this campaign for almost a year, trying to reconcile and describe what happened. He says he never pulled the trigger. He says he never fired the gun. He suggests that something mechanically was wrong. And that now has limited what his lawyers can do on his defense, because the prosecution has already taken steps to interfere and to impeach those statements if, in fact, he chooses to offer them in a court of law.
It's why defense attorneys always tell their clients never, ever, 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 ever talk. And it's why Ashley Banfield asks them to talk. It's just the worst idea in the world for them, and it's great for me. Carl Douglas, I want to call you back on this because something tells me you might get a call from Alec Baldwin, and you may end up being asked to be on his dream team. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me. Please, I'd like to come back again.
Oh, I can't wait. That's excellent. All right, Carl Douglas joining us live tonight. I've got lots of breaking news tonight. I've also got this possible confession. Well, it depends on what your ears are like in the Murdaugh case. It is a strange series of texts as well that were brought out in that courtroom. Is it Paul and Maggie Murdaugh speaking from the grave? That is coming up, and we're also going to update you on that manhunt going on right now, surrounded. The guy who is surrounded in Oregon. We're back after this.
With thyroid eye disease, I hid from the camera, and I wanted to hide from the world.
Enforcement turnout in a neighborhood in this small community where it is believed that that suspect who has been the subject of a nationwide manhunt is now holed up in the bottom floor or under the home more, but the whole community shut down. There's a shelter-in-place order, and a lot of those streets have all been closed off as well. So we'll get to that in a moment. But I also wanted to tell you this about the Murdaugh case today. Something happened in court today that reminded me of what happened in 2018. And if you don't remember the Yanni Laurel tape, when you had to listen to something over and over again and decide whether it was Yanni or Laurel, that happened in court today because they played a tape of Alec Murdaugh saying either I did him so bad or they did him so bad. I'm going to play the tape. You decide what you hear.
Wait, 1/3 speed.
And sitting here talking today is tough. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Did you hear they then?
No, sir, I did not.
I don't know, Andrew Davis. I do not know what I heard. I heard I did him so bad, and then I heard they did him so bad, and now I'm stuck on they did him so bad. Andrew's an investigative reporter with our News Nation affiliate in Savannah. You were there. Give me a read for how that moment played when they slowed that tape down.
I'm just pausing real quick because I believe that this is true, thanks to one of the followers in here who is regular. According to KDRV News 12, the manhunt is over and Benjamin Obadiah Foster is deceased, which, good, right? Good. I'll keep playing this, but yeah, just wanted to give you all that update.
It was very strange for everybody because we'd all been talking about it all night. Is it they? Is it I? And then you wanted to look exactly what you were hearing at 1/3 speed, which is what that was, and then look over the jury, and they were all listening intently. But the key is right now, prosecutors have hitched their wagon to the fact that it's I. And that's why that SLED agent wouldn't switch his statement from saying it sounded like I when most people heard they when you slowed it down. But it doesn't matter what we think, what the SLED agent thinks. It's all going to be on what the jurors think. And so far, they look more confused than they did actually understanding what was going on.
Yeah, because I'll tell you what, even if it was I did him so bad, I also could see that as like, I didn't protect my child. I failed my boy. I mean, I could certainly see it going either way, but what a moment. It was really crazy to hear that. I wonder how they're going to take it. I'm going to come back to you about the text messages because we've had all this breaking news at the top of the show, Andrew, but I do want to find out whether there's a big significance in the timing of the texts that came into Maggie's phone and Paul's phone, but we'll have to do that in the next couple of days. But thank you for that. Appreciate it, Andrew.
Thanks.
Okay, so one of the things that you might be wondering is what it's like in a detention center. You probably know it's no fun, right? And that's where Alec Murdaugh's been since he was arrested. And life for him was always fancy clothes, fancy shoes, fancy food, fancy clubs, not a detention center. But in the last week and a half, he's kind of like living his normal life. He's a lawyer in a courtroom, wearing nice clothes, talking to expensive lawyers. I just want to let you know what it's like when he walks out the side door, because his day in the bottom floor of that courthouse is very different than his day seated at that table right there. And I'm going to explain exactly what happens to him when he goes behind the door next.
Okay, well, fast forward. I'm just kind of annoyed that it seems like Ashley is standing Murdaugh. It just pisses me off. It could mean this. Stop, like get off of him already.
Really tiny report today about Alec Murdaugh's day as he's dealing with his murder case, day in, day out. And it said this: during breaks in the proceeding, he is placed in a holding cell under the courthouse behind a gate of white bars. And it made me wonder, when everybody else is going to lunch and everyone's milling about upstairs in the courthouse, is this guy in his nice button-down shirt with his blazer and his chinos and hard-soled shoes, sitting in like a 6x8 cell, eating a bologna sandwich, waiting for the lunch break to be over. And I knew that Larry Levine would have the answer because he's the director and founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants. And this is something that most people don't think about, Larry. You're sitting in a courtroom. The jury doesn't look at you in your jail garb because that's, prejudicial. They get to see you in your street clothes. But when they march you out without, the handcuffs and all the rest, the jury can't see that. When they take you behind that door in the courtroom, what happens next in between all those moments when you're back at defense table?
First thing they do when they bring you through the door to behind the chambers, they shackle you, they handcuff you. They're probably not belly chaining him or leg shackling him because he's inside the building. Then they bring him down the elevator, they take him to the basement. They're not going to change him out at that point because they know they have to bring him back upstairs when court reconvenes. So they throw him in this cell. I believe it's like white wire mesh. It's not white bars in that cell. And he sits there on a concrete bench. There's an open toilet right there in front of him. And they throw him a bag lunch, bologna sandwiches, an apple. I believe it was peanut butter crackers, and a couple little containers of fruit punch. And that is his life in that holding cell until they bring him back into the courtroom. It's dismal, it's old, it's damp, and it stinks. And there's an open toilet, 5-6 feet from him with a metal seat around it. So, it's gross, it's grungy. I don't even know if I could eat. I've been in these holding cells before. They're no fun. He's probably in there alone. At least that's a plus, because if he really wants to, he can lay down and take a nap. Use the roll of toilet paper. We use that as a pillow.
Imagine, is there anybody else down there? It's a courthouse, so I'm assuming that they'd have other people there for hearings, but it's also civil. So is it possible that he's literally alone down there and a video monitor's on him, or will there be a guard or somebody?
There'll be a jailer, probably one of the deputies is down there as well, because they're doing intake and outtake through the building there. Because, they are processing other criminals or other defendants. Remember, this county where, Richland County, there's like 500,000 people there. This is a really, really big county, so you've got a lot of movement. So in all likelihood, they have more than one holding cell, but they need to protect this guy despite the fact maybe he killed some people. So I would venture to say he's in there by himself.
And then the next thing is, if you got a long court day, you'd be up, you're not held there overnight. You go back to your jailing facility. When would he eat? Like 5 in the morning when he gets up, and then just one small sandwich in the middle of a long court day?
You know what? It's more than that, Ashley. He's not being held there at the Alvin Glen Detention Center, which is 8 miles away. They've moved him to the Colton County Detention Center. It's a 90-minute ride, and it's 100 miles away. So this guy's got a ride at the beginning of his day and a ride at the end of his day. And they're probably waking him up, 3 o'clock in the morning. He hasn't slept well. They're giving him some breakfast, a cold breakfast, because he's not really eating the regular jail food. Then he's got to be on the road probably by 5 or 6 o'clock. They have to strip search him, make him bend over and cough to make sure he's not hiding a machine gun up his butt or something. Lift your tongue, wiggle your ears. Let's see the bottom of your feet. Then they throw him into the van. So now, what is it? Maybe 6 o'clock in the morning. They've got a 100-mile ride. They get him to the courthouse, maybe 7:30. Now they have to in-process him back into that holding cell. And now he's got to wait for court to start. And it's like Groundhog Day for you. He's lucky he's in this. Actually, he's lucky he's in this Colton County jail.
I have to do. Listen, I want to do a longer interview with you on this, but I've got this breaking news out in Oregon, so I have to cut it there. Larry, thank you. I look forward to our next chat. I look forward to all of them.
Okay, hon, be good.
Okay, you too. Also, I just want to let you know, for live coverage of everything that's happening in the Murdaugh case, just tune in. We're doing it 10 a.m. to noon with Marnie Hughes. She's doing an amazing job. You can watch the proceedings live as they play out. After the break, I'm going to give you an update on what's happening in Oregon with that manhunt. I think we've got some breaking news. We're starting to get it into our newsroom. I'm going to sort it out, get it right to you.
I think we're probably going to be done with Banfield. We know, yeah, the rest of it's going to be that. So we know that he was captured. So we can save ourselves some time. And I will turn this back over. Alexa, turn on theater. Look at that. Banfield was a half hour tonight, guys. See what happens when we save it. We know the other news and we talk about it first. Oh, I dropped my keyboard. Hold on. I'm going to get you guys turned around. Give me 1 second. Thank you all for the follows and all the support. It is absolutely and very much appreciated. There we go. Okay. Emmy, I got your text. You are welcome. Of course, please answer questions. I'm very happy for that. For you to be able to do that. Well, of course. So yeah, here's the thing though. Even if Murdaugh isn't guilty of murder, and I'm not, this is just whatever. I think that, you know what, it was a fair, I think the open toilet things that, you know what, for somebody who's never been to prison, I think the open toilet's a fair question. You know? So anyways, for Murdaugh, let's talk about this real quick. Let's assume he didn't, for the sake of this discussion. I think he is guilty. Ashley wants to stand Murdaugh for whatever reason. As D-TikTok said, or Detect, I don't know how to say it, pronounce your name, but you know who you are. He's still a bad guy. He still has 103 financial charges, crime charges against him from, you know, he has drug trafficking, tax evasion, buying property under false pretenses, as just to name a few of them. So even if he doesn't get sent to prison for murder, he's still going away for a real long time. Look at how long Crisley got, you know, and he didn't have nearly. Exactly. He'll spend the rest of his life in prison for the money crimes alone. Okay. Oh, that's another thing. He's all this. How can a reader see the text messages? When I get off of here, I will put them on my Instagram. How's that sound? Is this somebody who had a housekeeper who mysteriously died also? Yes. So, okay, let's talk about the deaths that are associated with him real quick. I don't know the Colombian murder unless, what is the Colombian? Well, tell me what the Colombian murder first is. It's the one that happened in California a few weeks ago. The cartel hit. Or, yeah, but anyways, let me tell you the murders that are associated with him, potentially. His wife and son, okay? Now, his son is responsible for a murder, so we're talking about the family. I'm going to come to Stephen Smith in a second. Yeah. His son, Paul, the one who died, was killed. Was driving a boat, underage, intoxicated. What I mean by underage is I don't mean under 18. I mean under 21. And he killed a girl on a boat. So she died. Then there is the housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield, who worked for them for 20 years, who then there. And by the way, I heard that they are exhuming their body. Yeah, you're right. And I should have said Mallory's name too. So thank you for putting that up. Yeah, Mallory Beach was the girl. We should remember the victims of this. Mallory Beach was the girl on the boat. Then you have Stephen Smith, who this was a very weird situation. Nobody got charged in it. The police declared it a hit and run, but you got to keep in mind he owns the police there. And Stephen Smith was openly gay, and the rumor is that Buster, the oldest son of Alex Murdaugh, is a closet homosexual. And I don't know what would have happened there, but it's something to do with that. So yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. So anyways, Nikki, is this your first time here? And if so, thank you. So I don't know if it's your first time, and I don't think it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so the rumor apparently on the housekeeper is that supposedly she found illegal drugs in Paul's room and then confronted him, and Paul got mad and pushed her down the stairs. That is they both of the kids had fire red hair, but yes, Buster is the living one with the fire red hair. Yes. So you have Satterfield, Stephen Smith, Maggie, Paul, and Mallory Beach. Buster does not look upset at all. Oh, I need to turn my mic around for YouTube people. Hopefully you guys can hear me better now. Alyssa got me this awesome mic for my birthday, or for Christmas, not my birthday. You know what I thought like an idiot, guys? I'm going to just stop for a minute talking about murder for a second, because I talk about a lot of murder, right? So I found like I found this game at, was it Marshall's the other day? It's like this little 2000s game, right? And it's trivia. And I'm like, I'm going to get these out. I'm going to play these with my followers, but I never am going to have the opportunity because we're talking about murder. But I have them here. So 20, or I can't remember every case that I'm told, but I have what I did yesterday, as a matter of fact, or was it the day before? It doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about a second. So, anyways, yeah, well, I'm going to come back and we're going to celebrate that Manhunt. That's a good idea. So, if you go to my link tree in my for those of y'all who are on TikTok, if you go to my link tree, and I am, by the way, for those of y'all who really wanted me to answer a question and I can't see it, like Mama Heather, for example, because I definitely want to come back to that, but I'm going to probably forget in a second. If y'all want to jump over to my channel on YouTube, it's a lot chiller there. It doesn't scroll as quickly, and y'all can ask questions there as well, so I don't miss them. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. It used to be with TikTok. It used to be with TikTok that people could ask questions and I would just stay on and answer everybody's question, but now I can't. So, anyways, I created a thing. You can go to my link tree in my profile, and you will I think third link down is Jot Forum, and that is where people. Thank you, Mama Heather, because I do want to talk. I really want to talk about that. My YouTube is the same name, Justin on TikTok. You can also get to it through my link tree in my profile. It's the top link. But you can go, if you want me to cover a case or talk about, it doesn't have to be a case. It could be even a topic that y'all are like, because I talk about narcissism too, because I was raised by a narcissistic family. But if there's a topic you want me to cover, you can go to the, so you can ask questions there, but see, it used to be, Nurse Cassie, it used to be that it would show those Q&As here in the chat, and it doesn't anymore. So now that question is just on my profile. But anyway, so if people want to go to that, you can drop a question, or if you want me to, to cover a case, not a question, but cover a case or talk about something specific, you can put it there. There's no guarantee that I will be able to get to everyone that's been submitted, but I will do my best for those that I can. And I will warn you guys that if you do fill out a form like that, it is going to take you to my YouTube, because that is my thing. It's not on mine either. It'll take you to YouTube, so I'm trying to convince you all to follow me. You know, it's funny, Emily, I put the tip features on there, but I've never gotten one. And I mean, I don't ask, so I don't care. It's not a big deal, but yes, I've never gotten one, actually. Okay, I'm going to look at because I was talking to y'all. Let me look at Heather, or at the, Heather. Go to Heather, had a question real quick. Question here on that other thing. No, ask your question here. And it was about Lindsay Clancy, right? And I will get to that. Okay, I thought you were regular. I was like, you're not here all the time for a minute. Okay. So before I get to that, and please ask it so I don't forget, I do want to talk about Benjamin Obadiah Foster, because I think that this is a huge win. Let me give you guys my opinion on this. Hopefully, yeah. I didn't know that, Emily. So thank you for doing that. I think it's a huge win. I think it's a huge win because, God, I really want my wife to come on for that discussion too, for Lindsay Clancy. Maybe she'll come in here. If she can hear me, if she wants to come in here when she's off the treadmill, she is welcome to do so. But I want to talk about this real quick because I think that it's a huge win. I think that, so obviously I am not a woman. I don't identify as a woman. I will never know what it is like to get out of my car and have to check the back seat or check my surroundings, walk to my car and be worried going out for a win. I will never know that from a firsthand perspective, but I do have a wife and I do have a daughter, and I do know that there are some very creepy people out there. And I don't think that there is a woman or even a girl in this entire world that once they get to a certain age, let's call it 13, 14, that they have not had some kind of inappropriate experience, whether it's an off-color comment or inappropriate touch or something, because guys are just creepy, right? So this guy who they just killed, he had 2 counts of domestic violence against him. I don't know if they killed him or he killed himself. Either way, it's a win. 2 counts of domestic violence against him. And I'm going to give you my opinion on the Lindsay case. Don't worry. I'm going to get there, but I want to talk about this because I think this is important too. And it'll be a good segue into that when I'm done. But now, this is a guy. I know that there's some before 13, absolutely. That's why I put it. I started to say 12, and then I was like 13 is probably a guarantee. But now this guy who has hurt people to the point that they are near death. One is on life support. She may or may not die. Hopefully she does not. I don't make my wife do anything. She does whatever she wants. She enjoys being on the treadmill. I don't make my wife do anything. I love her how she is. And if she wants to go on a treadmill because it makes her feel better, then that's great for her. She doesn't need to, but yeah. Anyways, that being said, now this is not a guy who will get another 2 years, spend it in jail to get out to commit another similar crime that will eventually take somebody's life. So now he is gone. He is one less horrible person out of this world. Colleen, I think it can be both. The question is, do I think it's mental health or pure evil? I think it could be both. So that being said, let's talk about the Lindsay Clancy situation. Hold on a second. Alyssa, do you want to come in here? She might not be able to hear me. I love her because she's got a lot to say on this topic. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Nope, she's not on. I'm going to invite her as a guest. I'll invite her. If this invite's on TikTok, you guys will be able to hear it too. Yes, this is the guy we were talking about late last night. If she comes on, but anyways, I will start talking about my opinion. I think the Lindsay Clancy. For those of y'all who don't know the Lindsay Clancy situation, this is a woman who had severe postpartum psychosis. Okay. Her husband was told not to leave her alone. He ran to the store for like a minute. And in that time, she essentially she's allowed to do whatever she wants. It's not, look, this whole body shaming thing that y'all are trying to joke about, it's not funny, is what I'll say, because that's what it rolls out to. She's on the treadmill because she enjoys it. If she didn't want to be on the treadmill, that would be totally cool too. But making jokes and stuff about it's not funny because it's body shaming, and I'm not cool with that. So for real, keep doing it. You'll be muted, and that'll be that. We don't tolerate that here. So, anyways, the psychosis is really sad. When she comes to a point out of it to some degree, okay, I guess maybe then it's not for, okay, maybe I'm misreading, and I apologize if I am. No, if they didn't mean it in a negative way, then I'm misreading. You can never tell on social media and stuff like that. But she's going to come out of this. Lindsay Clancy's going to come out of this, and she's going to realize, and I'm sorry if I misread it. My apologies as well. And she's going to realize what she's done, and she is going to be punished for it. No matter how bad it is, she is going to be punished for it. I'm going to come back to I'll ask. He's dead. That's what happened to the standoff. He's dead. But the punishment of when she comes through is going to be way worse than anything that a jail or a prison or a court can do anything. So she strangled 2 of her kids, and then the other one, what did she do? I think she jumped out of a window. She survived. She was holding the baby, the infant, and the infant died later. She might be hospitalized. But postpartum psychosis, and supposedly, I don't know if I read this or heard this. So it's unconfirmed. Maybe one of y'all can tell me if I'm wrong on this or if it is confirmed. But I think that I had heard or read somewhere that maybe it was Alyssa that told me that she had tried to check herself in to the hospital No, we're very cool. We're cool. You and I are good. I'm so sorry. I misread it, but because you can't tell tone and cadence on a live or on I think so. So no, we are totally cool. We're good. We're all good. We're all good. But I think that she tried to check herself in. Somebody else. Okay, Nikki, she did. Yes, all the kids did die. Yes. Does anybody know? Okay, y'all heard it too. She previously, and it was an insurance issue. Insurance wouldn't do it. And if y'all really want me to get on my soapbox about insurance, given the fact that I work in healthcare, oh, thank you. This is not like one of the shirts that I'm affiliated with. This is actually one of my concert tees. Right now we're talking about Lindsay Clancy, who through postpartum psychosis unalived herself, or unalived her children. I work in health. I'm a sales rep, but yes, I work in healthcare. Not as a nurse, as a rep. I'm the one that brings you guys lunch. I'm basically like a glorified DoorDasher. I am 40. It's weird to say that. I don't feel 40. I don't know if she's paralyzed now or not. I've not heard that. But I'll get on. Yeah, she was a nurse too. Yeah, see, you love the reps. See, I know because we bring lunch. And the thing is, I'm a rep that actually asks the office, what do you guys not want or what do you want? You know, because y'all get this, you know, I don't want to bring y'all like Mexican food for the 5th time in a week. But that's okay. I'm all over the place. So I'm going to get on my soapbox for insurance real quick. Okay, y'all are going to have to hear me out. Before I had my daughter, I felt very differently about insurance. Okay. I used to have the mindset that universal healthcare was a bad idea and people should pay for their own shit, basically. That is what my thought process was, essentially. Then I had my daughter and she was in the NICU for 43 days. And every time a neonatologist walked by, it was $7,000 to $10,000. And those neonatologists, even though we were in an in-network hospital, they came in from an out-of-network practice. So basically, when we got the bills for everything, we ended up paying everyone. Oh, it's always said and done for everything, for the antepartum stay, for the NICU stay, for everything. We paid $5,000 out of pocket for 43 days, but the bills were over $1 million, literally over $1 million. There were a lot of people in that NICU with us that did not have insurance like we had. I mean, I get what you're saying. There's no perfect system, but it's also not perfect to go into debt just to try to have a kid or to have anything. So, and there were people who were in there longer than us. And then you kind of start doing the math and you're like, okay, we pay like $1,100 a month or whatever we pay for insurance, plus deductibles, plus out-of-pocket max on those years. You know, how much would a little bit extra tax be cheaper than that? So anyways, that's my point. I used to feel very differently about it. But then working in healthcare, working with nursing homes, working with a lot of diabetic patients. I worked for Medtronic for a long time. I don't anymore, but I worked for Medtronic for a long time, selling insulin pumps and working with diabetics. It's challenging. It's challenging, and you don't have to be poor. You can have money, and then an illness will wipe you out. So we actually had neighbors. Okay, and I'll shut up about this in a second, but well, Wilhelm, I'm hope that you don't ever have any major medical bills. But what else is socialist? Since you're going to say that, so I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold on. We're going to school somebody. Are you on? If you have Medicare, that's socialist. The military is one of the biggest socialist experiments, and I love the military. Don't get me wrong; we need it. It's great, but it's a socialist experiment. You're so brainwashed into thinking these things and putting labels on something that you really don't know what you're talking about. So maybe stay in your lane. But anyways, we had neighbors and friends who were very wealthy people, and the mom got cancer. She passed away at think she was 33 years old. 33 years old. It wiped them out completely. Yeah, Congress too. It wiped them out completely. So now there's a single widowed father, widower father, with 2 kids, and has had to move back in with his parents because of the money that cancer treatment did. It took everything they had, and I mean they were wealthy people. So, but they were also self-employed. So, anyways, that is my point on that. I will jump off my soapbox now. Jessica, you're 100% right on that. It's very hard. Yeah, Audra, I have nothing. I have nothing against. Yeah, and I said military's great. My father was military. The bulk of my family was military. It's great, but I mean that is what it is, and it's good. And you know what the thing is, I have no problem paying taxes for TRICARE and for active duty military and for VAs. I have no problem with that. You're willing to sacrifice your life to keep everyone safe. Then I'm obviously I'm very cool with that. Anyways. So yeah, we have great insurance. Yeah, exactly. It's a problem, guys. It's a huge problem. So let's talk about Kohberger real quick because a lot of y'all have asked. I've seen questions about it. I will come back to my how did I become a sales rep in a second, if I remember. If I don't, remind me again. But anyways, Kohberger real quick. So there's not really a whole lot of updates. We've taught the thing about the informant, and a lot of people have asked me about the informant situation. Okay. And the informant situation is this. I don't know who the informant situation is, but if you were to put something to my head and said, you have to give me an answer right now, my thought logically is maybe somebody from the Reddit survey that he did, right? Maybe somebody from the Reddit survey that he did. Oh man, I'm coming back to what you just said, Kara. I want to stop this chat from flowing so I can come back to that. Maybe somebody who committed a crime and maybe the reason they don't have to testify is because there's irrefutable evidence, whether an email or text message or something, some kind of communication, maybe even audio recordings that are, again, undisputed, that they don't have to cross-examine for, but it's somebody that might have committed a crime that's trying to work a plea deal on their thing, which is why they're not going to be a witness. So it's very, I don't know who it is, but that is where my thought process has taken me on it. And I have given it a lot of thought. So what Kara said, and I do want to come back to this real quick, and we can circle back to Kohberger, of course. But if we're talking about people choosing to protect others with their lives, teachers too now, I agree with that. So I said earlier in this live, when I first got on before we watched Banfield, that I went to pick up my daughter from preschool today, and the flags were half-mast. And I said to the front desk, because she's in preschool, I said to the front desk, I said, why are the flags at half-mast? Like, did something happen that I was unaware of? And they were like, oh, it's for the mass shooting. And I said, which one? And they were like, the one in California. And I said, okay, which one? Because there were 2 within like 24 hours. And then I think there was one in Iowa. I think there's one in Iowa. I think there's one in Florida. One of my followers in here and friends said that there was one, I guess, tonight in Nebraska. So I'm like, if we're going to be lowering flags for mass shootings, they're just going to stay low all the time. It's a problem. It's a problem. And you're right. Teachers get paid absolutely nothing, and now their lives are being put on the lines. See, I've seen the thing. I've seen Kristen too. So Kristen says, attorneys on here are saying it's normal verbiage, no informant. I'm not an attorney, so they may be right. They may be wrong. I've seen both. I've seen attorneys say both. That said, the state prosecuting attorney, William, whatever, I can't remember his name at the moment, I'm blanking, but he specifically added this verbiage in. So if he added that verbiage in, then to me, it seems like it's more than just your standard form. We're talking about Sweetie Marie. We're talking about everything. If I okay, somebody says something about eggs. Eggs are still regular price at Aldi for what that's worth, guys. I'm trying to read what you guys said. So that's I don't know. Maybe it's standard practice for him. Maybe. I guess, we don't know. They don't tell us a lot. I mean, frankly, it's none of our business to know. Yeah, Aldi, we actually got the good eggs, like the really good ones, like the free range pasture raised ones. They were like $4 or $4.99. So yeah, for what that's worth for everybody, because again, we live in a weird world right now. So for me, the $4.99 a dozen were the good eggs. They had the cheap eggs for I think $2.99 or $2. Costco too. Okay. So eggs at Walmart yesterday. Where are you at? $15.94 for eggs at Walmart. Okay, hold on. $12 for in Vegas. $12 for a dozen. Yeah, I only buy the farm raised ones or the pasture raised ones. My son was born at 24 weeks, and our hospital charges were over $1 million as well. We only had to pay $7,000 out of pocket, but it's endless game of specials. Yeah, Tabitha, I feel you, and you're lucky that it was only $7. So I have a friend of mine. I was talking about this person last night too. Going back to that real quick, who travels the world. He works for Alice Cooper Tours. He goes where Alice goes. He's traveled all over the world. He was telling me 3 times that he has been sick overseas. And once was Australia, once was Germany, and once was some small podunk town in France that they were playing concerts at. And in every one of them, they knew that he was not a citizen of that country. They knew that he was an American. He went to the hospital, didn't ask for his name, nothing. And yeah, I am on multiple screens. I'm on YouTube as well. I'm actually on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter here, and then just TikTok here. So yeah, so when I look over this way, I'm talking to them. Yeah, it's very, very much multitasking. And they were nothing. They were nothing. So they charged him nothing at all. They better have been golden eggs for that price. It's crazy, guys. It's a weird world. I've never heard of Twitch before. Okay, so Twitch, I have no idea what I'm doing on Twitch. So I just created an account and I got 10 followers. So I'm very excited. I don't think it only shows stuff live. I don't think you can record and save stuff. At least if you can, I'm not at that point yet. But I think it was something that started out as a gaming platform, and now other people do things. But anyway, so I was like, I thought it takes me no additional effort to stream on. So if I'm going on YouTube anyways, it takes no additional effort for me to click the Twitch and Twitter button. So, if I grow on Twitch, great. If I don't, then oh well. I'm not really like doing a lot with it. It's just kind of there in the background. And if I do, I'll start doing more on there. So, yeah, I just put it on every day. So, yeah, it's mostly like live gaming. It's like live. So, anyway, I digress. I do not know. Okay, then I need to look at how to do that. I don't know how to save, because what I'm doing is I go through a platform called StreamYard, and that allows me to stream on multiple platforms at once. And allows me, and that's why I love the YouTube thing, because it allows me to do all this really cool stuff. Like I can throw things up on the screen that I can't do here. I can do like little banners and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, we could have a lot of talks about the NICU. The NICU, I would not wish one day on. I'm very grateful for the NICU. I'm very grateful for the NICU. So don't get what I'm about to say wrong, but I wouldn't wish it. I wouldn't wish one day. I wouldn't wish 1 hour in the NICU on any parent ever. Have a good night. All right. So did I miss any questions on the YouTube side? Because that scrolls less, and then I'll come back to you guys over here and look at y'all's questions. Let me see if I missed any real quick. We got a lot of things about eggs. I'm worried about why are people dying in Idaho like crazy lately? Michael, dude, I do not know. That is a good question. Okay, I think I got all the questions here. Okay, got all the questions there. Let me look at y'all. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard in the NICU. And on top of that, you have to leave them. There were some parents when we were in the NICU, because, I'm in Nashville. So for us, it's easy. And I mean, it was still like 30 minutes because we're in a suburb, to get down there every day. But there are people that live like in the middle of nowhere, like cities like, which you probably don't know, Cookville and Crossville, which are like an hour, 2 hours away, and they have to work. They don't get to see their kids, but maybe on the weekend. I will tell you, you do not live too far from me, Just Boy Mom. You live very close to me. If you see a DeLorean driving around Hendersonville, you can assume it's probably me. Thank you for following me on Twitch. Awesome. I can see that too, because it gives me a little, and here it shows me where you're commenting from. It's giving me, I think you're the first time I've ever had a Twitch little icon here. So thank you. What do I think will happen with the Clancy case? That's a great question. I don't know. I think that this is a case that she can truly plead insanity. Murdaugh trial. Well, that's okay. We'll have to come back to that. No, you saw me for sure. I've had a couple people, like when I've been in Home Goods and stuff, come up to me like, I recognize you from TikTok. And I'm like, that's cool. It makes my ego go really big when I get recognized. But I don't know. The Clancy case, she's definitely going to be able to plead insanity, legitimately. It is a love-hate relationship with the NICU. You know what? So on the TikTok side, somebody just said, for those of y'all, because y'all can't see it, you can get me on a soapbox about Todd Crisley in a second too. I'll get on that soapbox with you because I'm furious about that case. Said I think the insurance company should be held accountable for denying. There's a real mental health problem in this country. There really is. And tonight's not the night to go down the rabbit hole of that, but she should have been admitted when she was already diagnosed with having the psychosis, was told not to leave her alone. Just, crazy. That it's a sad and crazy, terrible, horrible situation. I think that she should be punished. At the end of the day, 3 children are dead. She needs to be punished. But, it might, the punishment's going to be when she comes out of the psychosis, she's going to realize what she did and she will never forgive herself. Sadly, because of the mental health problem that we had. Oh, thank you, Noah. I appreciate that. I might have 11 now because Random doesn't know where his username there, or he or she doesn't know where their username came from. But they follow too. So maybe I'm not to 11 now, maybe. But the problem is here's the sad part. She'll be able to plead insanity. That she could go to prison. She could go to a mental institution. She does need to be punished. She needs to be punished. Mental problems are not an excuse for doing what she did, unfortunately. But she's going to come out of the psychosis and she's going to be riddled with grief, just absolutely riddled with grief. And because of the challenges that we have in this country, the odds of her taking her own life, unfortunately, are going to be very, very, very high. And she will likely not get the help that she needs there. Todd Crisley. Let's talk about Todd Crisley because somebody asked about that real quick, and I want to get on the soapbox. Okay, and again, I'm not trying to ignore anybody's questions. If you have a dire question that you want me to answer, jump over. Same name on YouTube, Justin on TikTok. Jump over to my YouTube, and you can ask the question there. Simply for the fact that it doesn't scroll as quickly. There's 72 people there versus nearly 400 here. Just so you know, I don't know what Ocean Spray was saying, but cool. Todd Crisley. Somebody asked who Todd is. Todd Crisley. Crisley knows best. They're a family. He committed like tax fraud or mortgage, defrauded some banks and stuff like that. He got like 12 years. Josh Duggar got 12 years. In what world does Todd Crisley's crime equate to the same amount of time as Josh Duggar? Why? It makes no sense. There's one of two things here. And let's talk about Josh Duggar for a second. Okay, let's talk about this guy. And I got to be very careful on both platforms. You got to tell Alyssa, I'm happy to bring Alyssa in. She can either come in here and sit with me, or she can come in on the TikTok live and we can all hear the conversation. But that is up to her. Let's talk about Josh Duggar for a second. This is a guy who's been accused of SA violating, taking advantage of, however you want to word it, so TikTok doesn't like mute you. His sisters. There's rumors that he's done the same thing to his own children. And Alyssa taught me this, but apparently in the level of, I don't know how to word this, because again, of CSA abuse, which I guess is kind of CSA material, the things that he was in possession of. Okay. Is the top tier worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. Like, Alyssa explained to me, if I was on YouTube exclusively, I would say exactly what it is, but I can't. So not exactly what it is, but like what the content consisted of. And I want to invite her. Casts. Anyways, he had some really bad stuff, and he gets the same amount of time as somebody like Todd Crisley. Todd Crisley is not a danger to society. A man who abuses his children and perpetuates. It's just very hard with TikTok with what you can say. That is somebody who's a danger to society. Right? That's a danger to society. Thank you, Faith, for coming over here. It's really cool over here. Like, when you really get into it, I can pull all sorts of stuff up here on the screen. Todd Crisley ripped off some banks, guys. Do we give a shit if he ripped off a bank? The banks rip average people off every single day. They're having banner years every year. They're having banner quarters every year. He shouldn't get, anyways. It sucks. It just makes me sad for them. Like, it just makes me sad for Todd Crisley. He's not this is not like like his crime was look, you shouldn't steal. You got to pay your taxes, whatever. There are millionaires and billionaires that do worse with their money. 100%. But anyways, it's an apples to oranges comparison here. And to me, people doing like these financial crimes like that, Julie too, she got 7 years. And the accountant, anyways, it's just, I told you, Faith. Faith goes, aside, it's so much nicer than TikTok because it's so much more chill. And I can do all sorts of stuff too up here. So, and I appreciate this more because I am really trying to grow YouTube because TikTok is actually not good with its creators. I'm going to vent real quick about TikTok for a second, y'all. There's going to be like 3 seconds to vent about TikTok on TikTok. So yesterday, I get a sensitive content warning on a video where it was on the video of me talking about how the woman who played Shirley in Laverne and Shirley passed away. Y'all know that. In case you don't know her name, that's why I'm saying it that way. But anyway, she died. And I did a video about her dying. And then I mentioned in there that also that Lisa Loring, who played Wednesday Addams, died. And they gave that a sensitive content warning. And then they gave me a violation today on a video from like 2 months back where I'm calling out somebody who is, yeah, I know they will. I don't care. Let them. They gave me a content violation on me coming after somebody for saying some very inappropriate things, basically about standing up against people who are predators towards children and women. And they banned that video, and I, of course, appeal it, and I win. But the issue is with TikTok is, well, even if you appeal it, it still counts against you. So I have an account. When I log into my TikTok, I get an account warning, and it never goes away because they continue to do stuff like that. So they are a very challenging platform to deal with. They reduce the amount of because I never asked. I don't do any. I haven't done any like partnerships. I just took an affiliation recently with some awesome shirts. It is same name as here. It's Justin on TikTok. But I never ask followers for money like a lot of people do. Like I refuse to do the trend where like if every one of my 524,000 followers sent me $1, yeah, that would be awesome. But I'm never going to do something like that because y'all work hard for your money. I work hard for my money, and I'm not going to ask people for that. But anyways, I digress. They piss me off. YouTube is better towards its creators, so that's why I'm trying to move stuff there. They ban people for no reason, and you can get on their pissed off thing, and it's just whatever. It's whatever. So anyway, I digress on that. Can you do PayPal for the shirts? I don't know if they do PayPal for the shirts. I'm pretty sure that you can do Afterpay for the shirts, or like a pay in 4. I'm pretty sure you can do that because I think when I ordered, the funny thing is I've made like $76 off of the shirts total, and I think a fair chunk of that is my own shirts because I use my own code, and then I just use the money. I haven't even broken even because I keep buying more shirts. It's funny. Anyways. Hey, thank you, Jessica. I'm glad you found me. I don't know. Yeah, YouTube is so chill. It's so chill, and I get to do so much more on here. Do I think you will ever get off TikTok? No, I can't get off TikTok. They're gonna have to like ban me to get me off TikTok because it would take to rebuild the following on any other platform that I have here would be very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. And I don't want to, I just don't have it in me to do that. I don't. How do you find me on YouTube? There's 2 ways to find me on YouTube. One is you can just go to YouTube and my channel. It's youtube.com/@Justin on TikTok, spelled normally. Or you can go into the link tree in my profile and it's the top link. It'll take you there. That's the fastest way. Oh, look who wants to come on. Look who it is. Okay, so Alyssa is on TikTok, but guys, I'm going to move the mic over here so you can hear her too. People are talking about Lindsay Clancy. That's a good discussion. You've had a lot to say on that. I, being a man, am very limited on what I think I can say. So do you want to have a chat about that, or do you want to chat about something else?
Whatever the people want. I'm probably only going to stay on like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's getting late. When you get off, I'll get off. That's what she said. Sorry. Thank you guys for coming over from TikTok. Yeah, I can read the comments a lot easier.
Yeah, see, I can't see your comments.
No, it's okay. I can read questions and comments for you. Everybody's telling you hi. You can see everything at the bottom right now, right?
No, I can't see anything.
And on YouTube, y'all can hear her, right? Fine, because I got the mic. Let me show you this mic that she got me for Christmas. It's awesome. Look at this thing. It's like heavy duty. Look at this, guys. This is like the real deal. It weighs like 7 pounds or something like that. It's insane.
Hey, Doug. Oh, I'm sorry.
Who is Alyssa? This is my wife.
I'm sorry. I hope it gets better than kind of a. Is it Monday? I don't even know what day it is.
So this is what you look like after the treadmill.
Is that good or bad?
No, that's good. They're like, they said glam. The comments are not off on YouTube. Dr. Ruben is in here too. Hi, Dr. Ruben. But I'm going to give a real quick shout out. I'm going to pin his name because y'all should follow this guy. I love Dr. Ruben. I wish I could pin this comment. It's not letting me.
I've been following Dr. Ruben for a long time.
He is a very entertaining creator with, I can't pin your comment. It won't let me pin it. But yes, give him a follow. I'm going to shout out. He and I are mutual /friends on here. His content is great. He hula hoops through a lot of it. If that does not pique your curiosity, then I don't know what will. And he's like if hula hooping was like an Olympic sport, he would probably take home a gold medal. So
I am so envious of people that can hula hoop. I can hula hoop for about 10 seconds on a good day.
I think that he's right above you, Mavs. He's right above you, so you can do that. But I think, haven't you started doing like a little bit of like teaching on how to do it on your channel? So I know we're having a moment here, guys. Sorry. We'll get back to murder in a second.
You're so sweet. It's actually been this all night, but I took it down.
Yeah, he's been doing some instructionals on his channel. Well, you know who we could ask.
We know a guy.
We know a hula hoop guy who probably has a hula hoop guy, like a legit hula hoop guy.
Oh my gosh. The skip it, yeah. I miss the skip it too. Now, skip it was something I could do for, just ridiculous amounts of time. So yes, the skip it should make a comeback.
You need a weighted one that's the right size. Have a good night. Have a good night. We will, if we get more serious into, I will reach out to you directly on hula hoops, Dr. Rubin. Yeah, YouTube is good, but it depends. So some nights, I do. I've been doing a lot more exclusively on you, like some of the daytime lives and stuff. I've been doing a lot more on here. So.
All right. Questions you guys got?
All right. What do y'all want to talk about? Both sides. We can go back and forth. We can do YouTube versus TikTok, and you go back and forth on questions. But what do y'all want? Let's talk about what y'all want. I do think while we're waiting for questions, isn't it awesome that that one dude is no longer a problem? The guy in Oregon.
One last thing.
I actually did not know that. Somebody just said here on side, just for a PSA for us, a larger persuasion. For those of us who are a larger persuasion, Boardwalk will make larger tees for you also. I did not know that. That is awesome to know. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks, Juju. That makes me feel good, y'all. I should, I didn't wash my hair today or anything. Y'all are making me feel good. Usually I come on here and they're like, oh, she looks so tired. So.
Erica wants to know the story that we were told. What was to say? This was the first question, I think. So, and if I missed another one, I apologize. I'm not doing it intentionally. Erica's asking, what was the story you were talking about Justin that she knew a lot about? That is Lindsay Clancy. And a lot of people are asking about that. So
Here's the thing. I'll be completely honest with you guys. That story really started to get to me. I was telling Justin today, it's the feelings it makes me feel. I've been having to skip any videos or updated news that I see about it because my heart just breaks in such a way because this woman she doesn't know what she did. It just breaks my heart, and that she loved her children. When she comes out of the psychosis, it's the feelings, and I don't know, and my heart goes out to that father. It goes out to everyone in that family, and it hurt. It brings out more feelings than most of the cases that we cover because it's just so tragic. This wasn't an act of malice. This was a failure in our mental health system, particularly around mothers. And it is just such a jacked up system. You get 5 questions at your 6-week appointment. You get 5-6 questions at your kid's pediatrician appointment in the first year of life. And moms are afraid, parents are afraid to say anything because they don't want their kids taken away and they don't want people to judge them, so they're afraid to speak up. It just breaks my heart. And I don't know how to fix this. It's going to continue happening. I like that I'm seeing a lot more content about it. There are other women talking about their issues with psychosis. There's a story about a woman who cut off her hands because she was so scared she was going to hurt her child with them. The hormones after you give birth, I appreciate men talking about it and bringing awareness, but only a person who's given birth knows what those hormones feel like, and they're absolutely unreal. And pair that with birth trauma, postpartum depression, anxiety, psychosis, whatever it is, and you've got a really bad mixture. And take it like 10 different avenues because it's just so tragic. And like, I realize that she has to be held accountable for her actions, but this is a situation where insanity very much needs to be on the, you know, I don't know the word I'm looking for here, I guess her plea, because it just wasn't her. And I know, like you were saying, she needs to be punished, and I don't disagree with that.
Well, yeah, well, that was a conversation that you and I both had together, though. That
I don't disagree with it. It just hurts my heart when I say it, because she's already got the worst punishment that anyone could ever imagine. But yeah, I get it. Insanity isn't a reason to get out of what's going on, but I hope for her that she gets put in a long-term mental health rehabilitation center.
the challenge too is, though, with the poor example, or poor not even example is not even the right word. The poor access to mental health in this country, there's a very good chance that she will take her own life. I think the likelihood is very high, because I think it would be very hard to live with something like that.
I mean, could you?
No, I mean, I get it. I totally get it. I wouldn't fault her, but the issue is that she was denied treatment to begin with, and she probably won't get treatment again, you know, if she does have it.
The most recent update, and like I said, I have not been closely following it for the past couple of days because it's too much. But I heard that she attempted to check herself in, and she got denied due to her insurance. And that was the day before. What gets me, and by no means, do not take what I'm going to say as the husband has any issue. The husband is a victim here. 1,000% he's a victim. He's going to have to live the rest of his life knowing that 25 minutes to pick up takeout cost him everything. Like,
yeah, his kids, his wife, everything.
He lost everything. I don't know why he left her. Did she like paint this picture that she was doing better? Like, I have no idea. But and here's another thing that I'm gonna say: when people who give birth ask for help them. Like, if you know a mom or a parent that's struggling, like, bring food, help them clean up. Like, don't come over and hold the baby. You know, clean up, help them. They need it.
Well, having a baby is hard, and you know, one thing that we've kind of learned from this app too, take postpartum. Let's just take postpartum depression and psychosis out of it. You know, take our situation out of it, having to drive every day to a NICU, 30 plus minutes away, and then leaving your child that you just had at a hospital every single night, which I will tell you, we can both tell you, is horrible. That's a different story, but
and for the parent, like, getting up and still having to pump breast milk with a baby that's not there.
And how many husbands or partners don't help?
Yeah, I'm luckier than most because I had a partner who was, willing to help. And the best thing you can do, and this, I realize this isn't just for like, a friend coming over, but like as a husband, if your wife is pumping or breastfeeding, I think I speak for most women when I say washing the pump parts is like.
I did that.
Wash the pump parts. Like, if you don't know how to help, start there because that's huge. But yeah, like, man.
But not knowing how, or that they should help, and they should know that, but not knowing how is not an excuse to me. And I know that you're not saying that it is, but because when we had our child, it was a first baby for both of us. Neither one of us knew what the hell we were doing, but we had to. And you know what? She pumped. I mean, you pumped for Alyssa pumped for a very, very long time. And 19 months. And like clockwork. And when Victoria was little, I would get up, and we actually were talking about this with Victoria today. As a matter of fact, she kind of was asking about it, so we talked about it. And when we would get up every night, I'd get up every night. It was like 2 a.m. with her. Alyssa would sleep. I took that shift because she took, I forget which one you took, but you took the next one. Yeah, the next one. But I got up at 2, and we would go out to the living room, and I would put on Taxi, and she would take her bottle as we watched an episode of Taxi, because I felt like the theme song was soothing. Plus, it's a funny show. But the Victoria, what you have to understand is she forgot as soon as she left the NICU, she forgot her suck, swallow, breathe reflex. So we had to be very careful on how we fed her, because if not, she would choke and it would turn into a 911 call. Ask how we know that. Until she got put on a feeding pump, which then it was 100% me, because it was funny story here. When they decided they were going to put Victoria on an enteral feeding pump, I used to sell that pump, the exact one that we got, and they came in and they said, are you, we decided that we think that she needs to go on a feeding tube. And I said, okay, are you guys going to give me the kangaroo pump? And they were like, yeah. And I said, okay, is it going to be the regular one or the Joey? And they're looking at me like, how the hell do you know this? And so I said, I used to rep these pumps. I said, I could probably teach your trainer a few things. And I did. But because I was the one who, I used to do in-services all the time on those pumps when I sold them, I did 100% of all the pump stuff, like 100% of it. Because she was like, you know how to do it. I'm not touching it. And we're like, okay, cool. Totally fine. So,
I make them work the pump.
huh?
Did I make the milky work the pump?
Yeah. Well, there wasn't going to be anybody better than me to work that pump. So, I mean, I get it. Like, I'm not trying to be like not humble. I just, again, I did probably 200 in-services on it. So.
But I mean, it's just so, even those situations, like I look back, I was struggling. I was really not like postpartum psychosis, nothing like that, but just struggling. I was alone. I mean, she was preemie. Like, I mean, I say alone, like no family near us. It was just me, Justin, and Victoria. And
yeah, we are the village.
Yeah, we have no village. And I get it. Like, I get why moms, like, why they feel so isolated. Now, I've never experienced psychosis, so I can't speak to that, but I can only imagine how terrifying and scary. I mean, you feel like, my understanding is you feel like someone else has taken over your body. Like, it is not you doing these things. So, she might not even know what she's done yet. I'm not sure if she's still in it or not. But, anyway, we say all this to say, if you know someone who's pregnant or just had a baby or whatever, yeah, send them a DoorDash, something. Because chances are they.
Or if you really want to do something and you can see that their partner is not helping them, pull the partner aside and have a come to Jesus meeting with them.
Yeah. And ask them how they're doing. Let's get on another quick rant. Another thing that bothers me is you'll see like moms and mom groups say something like, "Oh my gosh, I'm really struggling. Baby A is sick. Baby B is not hitting their milestones, and I'm pregnant with baby 3 or whatever it is." And 90% of the comments are, "You got this, mom. You've got this. Don't worry." That doesn't help. Sometimes we don't got this.
Yeah, and this also goes back to not enough maternity or paternity leave.
Yes. Huge.
And you see what Sweetie Marie said, my ex-husband helped me with nothing, hence probably why he's an ex. I'm not trying to make assumptions, but I feel like that's a pretty accurate one. And he said he works a job. You know what? Being a parent, it doesn't matter if you work a job. We all work jobs. Keeping a house Alyssa works too. She, we got Victoria in school 3 days a week now, which is, I think, a huge help.
It just started 3 days this week because, we have to. I did it until she turned 3, 100%. I did full-time job and full-time mom. And, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. So now she's 3 days a week so I can actually get work done so I can keep a job. But I mean, the house stays, I still keep the house clean. You know, it's a lot of work, y'all.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. And we have.
That's why I'm up at 11 o'clock at night, because it's the only moment I have.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and there's the thing is we hear too many. Was it Robbie Harvey or somebody? Remember the one that we were talking about, or maybe you were telling me about it. I can't remember the situation exactly, where like the husband was cheating on his wife because she was in that period after having the baby, so couldn't have sex, and so he decided, well, I'm just going to cheat until you can do it. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was.
They will blow you away, the stuff that happens to women. Or like the women who are just had their babies and like are still in mother baby unit at the hospital, and their husbands or boyfriends or whoever are making them do things.
I'll let Alyssa answer that. I'll let you answer that question that was just asked.
Justin, I cannot see your question.
You can't see anything at the bottom?
Or chat. I cannot see.
Somebody has asked if I help with the housework.
Most of the time, yeah. I'm going to give you 40%, 45%.
Okay.
But here is the catch to that is, yes, he does help. Did he help immediately? No. 10 years ago, if you asked that question, it would have been a very different answer. But as we both matured, we've both realized that this is more of a partnership. So that has really been helpful. But what I will say that Justin makes it up to make it 50-50 is he does like more of the like heavy lifting and the manual stuff, if that makes sense. So while he might not do the dishes and make the beds every day, he might,
I did today.
Clean under the house or do something in the garage.
Cleaning under the house is not. It's like leaf blowing the attic.
You go under the house, and I don't know.
I built that whole new little office you have.
I helped. He does that stuff. See, like he's gonna be better at that stuff than me. So it weighs out, But I'm also a little bit OCD about the house too. So I get up every morning and have like my chores that I do, and they have to be done. So like, I'm not gonna wait around if he has something else to do.
Somebody goes, "Don't hide under the house." We see how that plays out. That could not be a better timed comment. That could not be a better timed comment. Like I wish I could give you like a sticker or something for that.
I don't know what you do under there.
Somebody, the next question for you is, how do you feel? How do you feel with Justin being TikTok famous?
Pretty good. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I feel like it's another partnership. I'm a little bit more behind the scenes. I help Justin a lot with his content. I feel like that's another situation where maybe I'm like 25% and he's the rest, where we still help each other out. Like, if y'all knew how much we talked about TikTok and his content and his videos and what to do.
So much.
And watch videos before they're posted and read articles. And it's a lot of work. But, I mean, I'm cool with it. I think it's a good outlet for him. Like, especially when he's talking about, like, the family stuff. So I think that's good. If somebody's looking for, like, oh, do you get annoyed with it? Only when I have to put Victoria to bed, like, every single night. That gets annoying. But I think we've kind of figured out even a workaround around that.
Yeah, because I like putting her to bed. Tonight she went to bed a little later, and you did the bulk. Yeah. I helped get her ready for bed and all that kind of stuff, and she was still awake when I came up here. But I tried to, because I just I like laying with her till she falls asleep. She's 3.5.
Let's see. A question on my end. Am I into true crime as much as he is? Funny story. We've been together 16 years, and Justin has never been into true crime.
Never.
He didn't even speak about true crime before
Gabby.
So I am into it more than him. Yeah. So the cases that he covers, y'all, those all come from me. I'm like, you need to do this, you need to do this, and this is what people are.
Well, not all of them, because Murdaugh was not on your radar at all.
Murdaugh's not on my radar. It's hard for me to get into that
Because it's so complex.
I just think he's guilty. I think he's guilty. I think
Emmett Till was mine too.
Emmett Till was yours. Yep, 100%. But like the big
Tyre Nichols was mine to choose. I mean,
let's do Gabby, and then the Idaho case. We were like, he's like, what are you talking about? Like, stop talking about these. Like, I was at the Thanksgiving dinner table. I'm like, somebody please talk about this with me. So yeah, but you're right. You're right. You have a lot of the other ones too.
yeah, a lot of them I come up on my own. The Emmett Till one, I got as passionate with Emmett Till as I did with with Gabby, because it's a travesty what happened in that situation. You spelled it correctly, Lori.
TFA, yeah, I know that case. I've told Justin about it, but I don't know.
Which one?
Dr. Patel in California.
Was that the one that he killed his wife?
No one died. He drove his allegedly.
Oh, the Tesla tried to kill his family but failed. Yeah.
Everybody lived.
Yeah. You know what story I want to cover, but I don't know if it's going to pique people's interest. Somebody sent it to me on the job form, and it's basically about, I don't know, and I don't know who sent it, so you might be in here because it doesn't tell me who sent it. It's completely anonymous, but about there's a homeschool program that is teaching, that is apparently the whole purpose, and I think it's in Ohio, out of Ohio. The whole purpose of this homeschooling program is to indoctrinate children. I'm trying to say this in a TikTok safe way because I'm on TikTok as well. To having the same views and ideologies of 1930s to 40s Germany. Let me put it that way. Well, the laundry lawsuit is very interesting.
Yeah.
I talked about the LSU. I talked about Maddie, the LSU student. I did a video on that as well. Where were you? Where were you all on when Chris Watts case happened? Did you cover it back then? No, I didn't. So here's how my platform kind of started about it. Okay, so people, it looks like people like the idea of that particular, and it rhymes with Yahtzee, exactly. Yes, exactly. So my content started out on narcissistic mom like narcissistic parent, narcissistic mom stuff. If you go look at my pinned videos, my most viral video ever has, I think now it's up to 13.7 million views. And it was me talking about when my mom and I kind of stopped talking after we told her we were expecting Victoria. And that was what my content was about, really. And then Alyssa was like I had no interest at the time in the Gabby Petito case. I didn't even really pay attention to it. It wasn't really something that I was, true crime was not something, whatever. But she says you need to watch this. She's like, she makes me sit down and watch some of the Moab footage. And it was like it was before you had the full body cam video, obviously. But it was when I watched that video, Brian Laundrie, and I think this is why she was like, you need to watch this, had the exact same mannerisms, the same almost type of speak, everything, his verbiage, his way of wording things was almost identical to that of my mom. And so it took me like literally 3 seconds of watching it to be like, oh, this is a case of the extreme side of narcissistic abuse. That's why I started covering Gabby. And then people, then I got very into the case. I'm very passionate about Gabby Petito. I will not tolerate anybody say anything negative about her or that family. I mean, the Laundries go for it, but I'm talking about the Petito Schmidt family or Rose Davis for that matter. And then people like the way I covered it. So then I've been covering current events and stuff in between. And then I found, then I've been covering like some of these other larger cases, and I guess people like the way I do it, so I keep doing it. Yeah. So that's kind of the background of what happened. We really should do a podcast on this.
We should. Yeah.
Maybe we should do a podcast one night, and I can invite you in through the link on YouTube, and we can just have a very structured thing, so we can have the podcast live. And then download the audio, make that into a podcast.
I think that's a good idea. I think if we just structure it in a certain way, it'll.
And hide our comments till the end, so I can't get distracted and see a squirrel or whatever.
Do you remember? I don't remember if you were even doing. Do you remember when we went to Destin while the house was being renovated?
How could I possibly forget?
Were you doing TikTok then?
Yeah, because we listened to that whole true crime podcast all the way home.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to remember. That wasn't the BTK killer, was it?
No, that was a suitcase killer.
Was that his name? Because
he was a former cop.
Yeah, so I thought BTK was.
Okay, let's Google this up.
But I'm trying to remember that case. It was interesting. Can I ask Justin, did your mom like your wife before you got married?
Steven Zellick. What's his name? I'll let you take. You want to take that one?
Very, very beginning, I thought she liked me because she pretended to. And then as things got more serious with me and Justin, and she realized I was, staying around for long term, she no longer liked me. That's a very short way of answering it.
Yeah. Well, I think it was all pretend anyways, though. I don't think she
really liked me. She put up with me because she figured I would just be, a short-term thing.
She doesn't like anybody, really.
Yeah, if you're a female,
especially if you're a female. You got to understand, when you're talking about my mom, my grandmother will be 90 years old. And I guess we're almost we're 2 minutes away from February. This month, my grandmother will be 90 years old. And my mom cut her off several years ago. But now at this point, 15, 16, 17 years ago, 16, 17 years ago, probably. After she lived with them, after she lived with her. And she stole a lot of my grandmother's possessions too, like the things that she worked so hard. Now my grandmother lives with my aunt. And she doesn't talk to any of her sisters, either of her sisters. Only one of her, she's one of 5, only one of them talks to her. Like none of her cousins want anything to do with her. Like, no, none of them, nobody does. Her best friend, my mom tried to rekindle a friendship with her best friend when she was on the verge of dying. My understanding is my mom has very recently started reaching out to my grandmother again, because again, she's almost 90 and there's not much money, but there's a little bit of money to be had. So, I mean, that's what it's about. It's about money. 100%. And so, yeah, I think she was a big catalyst in my brother's divorce. She mistreats her granddaughter, my niece. I have a half sister who was my mom was her stepmom. This was before I was born. Who, I mean, the abuse was so severe. Oh, she's a massive narcissist. That's what my content was about initially. It was about that.
A hockey mom, you're totally, like, I get it. If her boyfriend has hurt her, then yeah, it makes sense why you don't like him. And if it's abuse
is different.
Then that's a conversation I would have with my daughter to make sure she's safe. Totally valid to not like a significant other over
Abuse. Somebody says her sister's not like her. Not really. So she's got one sister that's a bit like her, but she's not mean and narcissistic. She's just, they have similar tendencies. My one aunt, her oldest sister, who, by the way, when she was not talking to my grandmother, I was not allowed to talk to my grandmother. When she was having an issue with my aunts, with my my half sister. Everybody, she tried for years to turn me against my dad, which he's kind of doing a good job of that on his own right now. That's a different rabbit hole. But my one aunt is great. Like, she's completely not like it, but I wasn't allowed to have relations with any of these people. And what happened is, when everything went sideways with my mom initially, normally the typical protocol that I would do is I'd call her up like, no, Mom, I'm so sorry. I love you, blah, 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 blah. And it would all be forgiven, because I would then go back to reconforming with whatever, her expectations of me were. And then when this last time happened, I'm like, I just told you, like, and this was us coming off after, a pregnancy loss too. Like, we just told you something that's amazing, and this is how you're going to act, is basically kind of my thought process. So then when she sent me, she technically speaking, she cut me off. But again, that was typically how it would go. She cut me off and I'd apologize. That's how she kept the upper hand. And so I didn't. That was my iPad falling between the cracks. No, it's not Victoria. And I'll get it later. Anyways, so I sent her back a message received. And then I sat there for a minute, and I'm like, you know what? For years, I've heard all of these stories about, like, these things that my aunts have done and my mom has done and blah, 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 or, these other people have done. I'm going to call them and get their side of the story. And what was very interesting about that particular moment, if you think I'm talking about your mom, you should go watch my playlist. It might be helpful for you. If you think I'm talking about yours as well. And I would hear the same exact story that I had heard all the years, except in every single person's story, my mom was not the victim. She was the one victimizing every single one. And for a lot of the stories, that made things really start to make a lot more sense. So that's kind of the background on what that happened. So, so we had to cut her out. Yeah, somebody says, proud of you for cutting her out. It's very hard to do. It is very hard to do. We actually were having this discussion. I'll go ahead and just say this because I don't think he's in here tonight. My sister and I, because that was somebody else I was not allowed to have a relationship with until recently. Her and I, we have a great relationship now. But we're having that conversation about my dad, her and I both. And my nephew the other day sent him this very long email about how he feels my father treated them. And my father couldn't even be bothered to read it. You can tell by his response that he didn't read it at all. And it's just because he refuses to listen to anything that could be potentially critical against himself. So anyway, so we're having that same discussion as well. So it's a hard decision, especially if you're thinking about doing it to both parents. So if you're in that situation, I feel you. I know what it's like. If you're thinking about that situation, again, feel you. There's a lot of discussion. I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole because we were talking about this today. There's a lot of discussion about going on with cutting off toxic family now that they are in nursing home. That's true. I think my dad is, but from a different level. My dad, I think, is definitely, if he's not full narcissist, he definitely has narcissistic tendencies, very strong ones that he refuses to address. Would you say that's probably how we should word that?
Yeah, definitely narcissistic tendencies, but not malignant. Not like the type of person who gets joy out of your pain. Just the type of person who
selfish.
Maybe doesn't care about your pain.
Yeah, that's more. Yeah. He doesn't need joy. He just doesn't care. So somebody said I cut off my father for 22 years. That's hard. So it's a difficult situation. We were talking about this today though, because I've seen some videos about people And sometimes I save them to stitch them later, like when there's not a bunch of crazy crime going on to talk about, so I can have some kind of filler stuff that still goes back to my core content and the original people who followed for that reason. But we were talking about how, like, we're talking about our grandparents today for the most part, and our parents, and Alyssa was talking about her mom specifically in this conversation, and it was talking about how basically her parents, when Alyssa and her siblings were growing up, that they were every weekend at the grandparents' house. There was that automatic, we respect you no matter what. We respect you no matter what, because that's how you were raised. Respect was automatically given for you being your parent. And then after her grandparents passed away, what you learn is that maybe they weren't the best people. And they really hurt their kids. And I think I know that Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, we give the baby boomers a lot of shit, and a lot of them deserve shit because a lot of them are not self-aware a lot of boomers are not self-aware enough to see that, therapy can be helpful, but a lot of them are. A lot of them are, and they don't necessarily realize that they are a product, another generation of a cycle that continued, but they were so indoctrinated into these are your parents, you respect them, there's no wrong that they can do. And I think Gen X didn't really get raised by anybody, so that's why they're, Gen X, they raised themselves, right? I mean, for the most part, the bulk of them did. And anyways, then millennials came along, and I'm an old millennial. And I think that we started breaking those generational cycles. And then, being like, what, why do we, I'll come back and talk about who y'all are talking about in a second. I'll talk about Benjamin Foster, but he is dead. They said, I've heard he was dead. They're saying he's in custody now. I'm going to check that in a second. I'll check that in a second. Okay. And then, but Gen Xers too, like my sister's a Gen Xer, she was born in 70. I was born in 82. My brother was born in 75. So I'm the youngest, but, and my sister and I were talking about this today too. My sister's, child has more balls than any of us do to say things to my dad. Like what he wrote in this letter was so relevant and so spot on that they had the balls to say it's what we never could say. You too, Emmy. Have a good night. And Gen X or Gen Z, man, those guys, they don't give a shit. Like they do not care. They're just like, you know what? We're not tolerating this abuse. We're done. You can respect us. You can respect your boundaries, or you can go F yourself. That's how they are. And you know what? I gotta say, I respect that. Okay, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so he is dead. He's dead. Okay. So anyways, it's pretty impressive, that generation. But the problem is, I think that then you have, our parents' generations, the baby boomer generations, 19, Kelly, 19. And they have more, they're asking how old Will is, and has more insight than I at 40, or my sister at 52 has.
Here's the thing. I think you all know what Will is saying. You all know all of that to be true. It's not even about insight. It's about
having the balls to say it.
Us to stand up. And, because, I think you're still on the tail end of that. Well, it's my parent. I have to put up with this. I have to put up with this. And that's not the case. You can draw boundaries. And if that person doesn't respect those boundaries, then you have to have harder conversations.
Hold on. Let me pause real quick. I'm sorry. There are conflicting news sources. There are some saying that he is in custody, and there are some saying that he is dead. There are both. CNN breaking news update. Police manhunt standoff is done. Foster in custody. This one's old. That one's not relevant anymore. Here's one that says he's dead. Here's another that says he's in custody. I don't know. Okay. It looks like more, though, are saying in custody, though, now. Okay, more saying in custody. So let's go with in custody. They did say he was dead at one point. More saying in custody now, so I think maybe that's the case. I'll try to read this and maybe give an update or something. Yeah, who knows? It's one of those, though. He's caught. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt, but yeah, it's a challenge, and there's just no self-awareness there. But like we were talking about, like your parents don't understand why they're not getting the same respect that they gave their parents. And what it is that we're learning that this respect is not automatically given, it's earned. And if you can't respect our boundaries, or you can't respect us, then why should we respect you? Or why should, and even I'll give the baby boomers this too, because the baby boomers did have a lot of challenge. Their parents might have beat the crap out of them and might have severely abused them, and they will still respect those people despite everything that they went through. Their parents could do no wrong because of the way that they were raised. And that's what I'm saying, is it's very challenging for that generation. I mean, it doesn't say that doesn't happen, but it's very challenging for for that older generation to then understand, because they automatically respected their parents. I think about Tony Soprano. Remember watching The Sopranos? I know it's a TV show, but it was kind of the same thing. His mom did all of these things to him, and he still was like, it's my mom. He put her in the nicest facility, retirement community he could, etc. Paid for nurse. And I know that was a TV show, but it's that same. But that is that mentality that exists, no matter how horrible they were. So, but Gen Z doesn't care. Millennials, we kind of started to care. Gen X is just like whatever, because that's just how they've been their entire life. I feel
like millennials really did break the mold there, because you have your millennial therapist. There's not many Gen Zs really old enough to be, giving therapy advice. So
no, that's true.
Getting advice from are the millennials that I think basically we walked so they could run. It's kind of where it's going. And I love Gen Z's mentality on the workforce. Like, they're not sitting around for your toxicness. Like, don't want me to work from home? Okay, new job. Don't want to pay me enough? Okay, new job. Like, they're not going to sit there and take somebody's crap. And I love that. And I cannot wait for that to become more of the workforce, because, like, the millennials are here for it. Like, we want to work from home. We want to get paid more. Like, we don't want to be abused at work by our, suggestive boss who likes to do inappropriate things. Not that my boss is great.
Well, that was another thing the boomers had to endure. They had, especially if you were a woman, you had to endure incredibly inappropriate coworkers and bosses.
Yeah, you did. I mean, women would be in the workforce and getting their butts slapped, Like, that only recently stopped.
Yeah. In some places, it hasn't stopped.
It still happens. So,
Yeah.
Gen Z might piss me off when they talk about our jeans and side parts and purses.
Oh, you mean how they do that before they steal everything that we did?
Yeah, like, don't come at me and say flared leggings. Buddy, these were yoga pants, and I was wearing these in 2004. So.
Sunsai said something that I want to address. The good old boys and locker room talk. Yeah. One thing that I hate is when people say, especially if they're parents and they have boys, is boys will be boys. And it gives them a pass to be inappropriate. And this is something that a lot of boy moms do. And don't come after me and say this. There's a big difference between a boy mom and a mom of boys, a mom who has boys. There's a difference. And I think you guys know what I mean. So, yeah, we're going to wait and see. Oh, yeah. So, by the way, there's going to be a press conference tomorrow from KATU after several hour-long standoff, attempted murder suspect, which this is a local station in that area. This is murder suspect Benjamin Foster is in custody. A press conference will be held tomorrow with additional information. So we'll find out more tomorrow. But according to a local news source there, he is in custody. So I think that that's where we need to go through.
Okay, I am getting all of my melatonin starting to
All right, I'll get off too. So yeah, they said that we definitely need to do a podcast together.
Yeah, we should. I think it would be really good.
Well, maybe, there's not unless it's like an incredibly weird, like, so tonight's Banfield was like less than 30 minutes. Maybe maybe we ought to do, she goes to school Thursday. Maybe we ought to take some time before we go pick her up, spend 30, 45 minutes. And you know what? Honestly, we don't even have to do it on a live. We can do it on StreamYards, just the two of us, as a pre-recorded thing. Or we could do it as a live to let people watch and then download the audio and upload it to wherever we're going to upload it for podcasting. Spotify, Apple, whatever. We've been talking about it forever, so. Yeah, I know y'all like the interactions. I like the interactions too, but I get so ADD and on a podcast, I don't know if, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'll let Alyssa make that ultimate call.
Gosh, I'm like so hungry.
You have the munchies?
Yeah.
I wish we had the munchies, but we live in a state where we're not allowed to have the munchies. All right. Well, you guys have a great night. I'm so glad for everybody that's coming here. A couple things, housekeeping items I'll say real quick. If you've been enjoying this and you don't follow me, please consider doing so. And if you don't follow me on YouTube, please follow me there, because I'm so trying to build that so I can quit my job and do this full time and bring y'all nothing but true crime content as a job. So that's where y'all come in.
There you go. Get enough to quit your job, you can take over like the 80% of the housework.
I would happily do that. And if you guys have something that y'all want me to talk about or cover topic wise, case wise, go to the link to my profile. You can go to the drop form, and you can submit it, and it will take you to my YouTube, because I'm trying to like catfish y'all into that. But I will also check your suggestions. So I guess it's not a real catfish, but anyway, I digress. Y'all have a great night. Huh?
Thank you for all the follows tonight and the great commentary. There's been a lot of great comments in here. I really appreciate it. And Doug, yes, you are correct. Not going to do that.
Oh, and real quick, and if y'all don't follow her, please go. Look, she does not post a lot, but she just really wants 10,000 followers just so she can have them. And when she posts, it's usually good and it's much more lighthearted. I know I saw your book. That's a great recommendation. Good Boundaries and Goodbyes is what it's called.
Brought up on my side too. That sounds like a great book.
It might be an audible.
Asking for your YouTube, it's the same as his TikTok name. It's Justin on TikTok.
It's Justin on TikTok, and you can also get to it again through my link tree in my profile. It is you click on the link tree link that's in my profile, and it's the very top link. You can't miss it. You can actually get to my Instagram through the icon too. You can get to any of my social medias through the Instagram link, or through the link tree link. They're all at the very, very tippy top. But yeah, give her a follow. She doesn't post very much, but when she does, it's great. She just wants 10,000 followers to have 10,000 followers.
Gonna do lighthearted news stories.
Yeah, she promises she's gonna do lighthearted news stories.
I don't know. Find me more hours in the day, and I'll do it.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I know. I feel you.
Oh, were we supposed to talk about Britney Spears tonight?
No.
Okay, well, next time I'm on Rescue Mom, jump on and remind me, because I got all sorts of thoughts on that.
Yeah, we don't have the hour in us to do that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I can't do it tonight because I'm tired, but yes, I have lots of thoughts there. Maybe I should just start getting off on myself sometimes, like when you're busy.
And then everybody follow Erica too. I don't know what you post. I'm sorry. Follow Erica too. She just wants 3,000. There you go, Erica. Shout out.
I love it.
So all right. So what a cliffhanger it brings you back. All right, guys. Have a great night. We're going to bed, and we will talk to y'all probably tomorrow.
Have a good night, y'all.
All right. Bye.